In 2019, New Zealand banned firearms, and in 2020, they banned dating. Yes, today we are going to look at the top 5 extreme examples of when social distancing laws have gone too far. Is extreme social distancing an overreaction? Well, according to the Washington Post and many different state governors and city mayors, it's not. Today's examples are the most extreme ways that we believe the government is overreacting and overreaching in their power to prevent you from leaving your home. Welcome back to the Daily Dose, our daily podcast here on Slightly Offensive. Please check that you're subscribed always by clicking below. Also realize, guys, it helps us out a lot if you go ahead and you download our audio-only version of this podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and Google Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star rating. And if you want to support us even further, including our street reports, sign up today at blazetv.com/slightly-offensive using the code Elijah to get our best deal ever. It's like Christmas came early. For $69, you get all of our content, extended content, Crowders, many more different great creators, all of course for that great price of $69 at blazetv.com/slightly-offensive. Let's go ahead and let's jump into the stories for today. So everybody's freaking out about COVID-19. Stay 6 feet away from me, sir. Please stay away. I might be sick. You might be sick. Everybody might be sick. Millions are going to die, apparently. So we've got to take precaution. And I'm not here to speak against social distancing. In fact, for a lot of you introverts, social distancing is just your daily lifestyle. And we're all living it. We are all living it. But the Washington Post and many different articles have written things like this. Is extreme social distancing an overreaction? No, unfortunately. And they've supported this by saying amazingly calm and reassuring things like, we don't have enough information to establish exactly how deadly COVID-19 is, and we probably won't for quite some time. But the experiences of China and Italy have established one thing pretty clearly. If you don't take aggressive containment measures, patients will overwhelm your hospitals, and then your intensive care units, and then your morgues. Essentially, if we don't go to extreme measures, we're all going to die. So governments have responded accordingly. And today we are going to keep them in check by looking at what we believe are the top 5 ways that these governments have just gone too far. Number 1, the most far. We're going to go from most to least. New Zealand enforces a bonk ban. Partners who don't live together can't visit each other under a strict coronavirus lockdown. This is from the Daily Mail. I don't know how to say her name. Jacinda Ardern. How do you pronounce that? Is that just totalitarian? Yeah, that's what we'll call her. This is the girl who banned firearms in New Zealand, by the way. Jacinda Ardern's government has quietly introduced a bonk ban more than a week into New Zealand's clampdown designed to stamp out COVID-19. New Zealand authorities issued new lockdown guidance that separates families and lovers who don't live together. With Kiwis, which is what we call New Zealanders, not even halfway through an initial 4-week lockdown that may be extended, it remains to be seen how long they'll spend apart. Self-isolation principles under the lockdown in New Zealand were previously vague. Before the lockdown, Ms. Ardern asked Kiwis to apply common sense and shrink down their social group. That was understood largely to mean households, but non-specific language allowed families and partners who don't live to see each other. However, Health Act order replaced the unspecific order with explicit language, which leaves no room for misinterpretation. It allows for no frasternizing across households with frasternizing. Oh, I don't even know what that word is. Households with very limited exemptions for shared custody of children and when at least one of the partners lives alone. The end result is the criminalization of most relationships between Kiwis who don't live together. So, leave it up to New Zealand, of course, to make it a criminal act to see your partner. So if you're dating and you don't live together, you can't see each other. Now, of course, that would violate the liberties in the United States, but when you don't have the same constitution we have, you don't have the same liberty, which is why we need to fight to keep that. And that is about as extreme as it can get. You're preventing people who love each other from seeing each other. But what are your thoughts on that? I mean, to be quite honest, how could that help? In a time of isolation, I think depression could end up being more dangerous than this. But number 2, this is where it gets even better. Leave it up to these great other Western countries to completely destroy the freedoms of Western civilization. Number 2, most extreme law. UK police officers are using drones to lock down shame people for walking their dogs in remote areas during the coronavirus outbreak. This is a real story. So this comes from Business Insider. So you see here on this picture, they literally put on stories video footage of people walking their dogs in remote areas and put them on TV to shame them publicly. It sounds like a dystopian novel, but it's actually real. UK police officers have sparked a public backlash after using drones to lock down shame people for continuing to visit remote areas to exercise and walk their dogs despite the national coronavirus lockdown. Derbyshire police on Thursday posted drone footage of hill walkers visiting the Peak District National Park. Footage of 2 individuals walking their dogs in the park was labeled as not essential in the clip. Other police forces in England have also set up roadblocks and left notes on cars at beauty spots asking walkers why they are not at home, the Times of London newspaper reported. Under wide-ranging emergency legislation, which came into force on Thursday, UK police officers can impose fines of £60 for breaching the lockdown, which will be reduced to £30 if paid within 2 weeks. Fines for repeat offenses rise to £120 in the first instance and can go up to a maximum of £1,000. You can get fined £1,000 for walking your dog. This is where I'm going to bring this up. If you want social distancing, how is somebody in the hills walking their dog not social distancing? See, this is not about social distancing. It's about control. If it was about social distancing, then if you were distant from other people socially, then you would be abiding by the guidelines. But what they want to do is to tell you where you can and cannot go. But of course, we know the UK is lost. We understand that. And for my UK viewers, you know how bad it's gotten over there. But thank God for Brexit. I hope things still get better. So we see New Zealand's lost, we see the UK's lost, but it gets better. Where else is authoritarian? Where else is insane and doesn't follow the US Constitution or the Bill of Rights? Yes, California, the great state where we film this show. And the next 2, these are 2 in here, come out of the Los Angeles Times, which is no better than the New York Times. And it says coronavirus scofflaws arrested, criminally charged as California cracks down. As California officials try desperately to keep people inside to slow the spread of the coronavirus, authorities are beginning to crack down on scofflaws. The crackdown has escalated in recent days, with non-essential businesses that refuse to shut down, as well as people who defy orders to stay out of the water, finding themselves in the crosshairs. Los Angeles prosecutors on Friday filed criminal charges against 2 smoke shops, a shoe store, and a discount electronics retailer, accusing them of refusing to shut down despite orders imposed to fight the coronavirus. It marks the first time the city has filed charges for violations of the Safer at Home order, which requires businesses deemed non-essential to close their doors to slow the spread of the coronavirus. So number 3, they are actually fining small businesses for not shutting down. Now, this is what's going crazy. You're telling small businesses they have to shut down, but not only this, if they operate under social distancing laws, what if they've closed down and they're only doing deliveries or they're keeping distance in their shops? If they don't close down, you're not only stopping their business, but you're fining them. So you're putting criminal penalties on law-abiding shop owners simply because they're trying to make a living. You know what's funny is all of these law enforcement officials and these governors and media who penalize these people all have their jobs. And as they mock and tell people, oh, stay home, don't work, shut your business down, they do that while they're working. It's easy to tell someone to shut down when you yourself are working. People are losing their livelihoods because of this. It's not like they're just having fun, chilling and drinking margaritas at home. They're not able to pay their rent. They're not able to pay their bills. People are hungry. Do you understand the seriousness of this? But of course, let's fine people, which again is illegal. I'm sure our forefathers fought for that. That's number 3. Number 4 comes, and it's like 4 is together. There's 2 of these actually. Of course, they come from the same article. Because a paddleboarder was arrested Thursday after ignoring lifeguards' orders to get out of the ocean near the Malibu Pier despite beach closures. County lifeguards patrolling the shore by boat tried to get the man to come ashore. Despite repeated orders to exit the water, the man continued paddleboarding for at least 30 minutes. God, I love this guy. I love him. They tell him to get out of the water. He's like, no. Lifeguards eventually flagged down Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies who responded by boat to help. You really helped. Who are you keeping away from this man? Nemo? He already lost his son. He could go through coronavirus, okay? According to the Sheriff's Department. Now it goes down even further. This is even better. So it wasn't just a paddleboarder, but a surfer in Manhattan Beach was fined $1,000 last weekend after he was accused of similarly ignoring warnings by police and lifeguards not to go in the water. It's not clear how many people in the region have been arrested for violating the governor's order. So people are surfing and paddleboarding, which to me is literally social distancing. There's nobody more annoying to talk to than somebody who's trying to hit some fresh gnar at 6 a.m. It's like, dude, go have your waves. But they're fining people money for going into the ocean. This is ridiculous. You can't do that legally, but they are getting away with it. And where are they getting away with it? In California, because California doesn't abide by the laws of the rest of the country. They do whatever the hell they want to. But what really does throw me off a little bit is this last one, number 5. And this is the fact that Planned Parenthood is considered an essential service, but religious services are not. I understand that some religious services could be packed. There could be issues, but what if a church also just wants to, create space in the building, whatever? They could abide by laws. Pastors are getting arrested. You might have heard this, but a new pastor just got arrested. Another one in America. Louisiana pastor charged with violating ban on large gatherings holds church service for hundreds. This is Pastor Tony. It says here, a Louisiana pastor was arrested last week for holding church services in defiance of state ban on gatherings of more than 10 people. Reportedly held them again Sunday, with hundreds of parishioners turning out to his church near Baton Rouge. An attorney for the pastor, Tony Spell, told Reuters that despite parishioners arriving in 26 buses, everyone but immediately family members maintained a distance of at least 6 feet. Spell told reporters that the churchgoers would rather come to church and worship like free people than live like prisoners in their homes, and suggested depression and anxiety experienced by people confined to their homes could be worse than people who have already contracted the virus. So this is the last one, number 5. This is to pair with a pastor in Florida who already was arrested for the same offense, and they're charged with misdemeanors. Having religious services is considered non-essential, even though they're abiding by these laws and they're keeping people apart. But yet liquor stores are considered essential. So I know that online liquor sales are up 243%, and I think liquor sales in general are up 53 to 55% from recent consumer report that I read. But people can't take care of their spirits. Do you realize that a nation that is spiritually dead will die sooner than a nation infected with coronavirus? Anyway, do you have any other ideas of more extreme examples? Let me know in the comments. And always, please, if you have any suggestions for stories that we could cover, interesting things that might be niche or just ideas for our Daily Dose podcast, let us know below by emailing them to our producer at todd@slightlyoffensive.com, as well as always downloading this podcast and signing up today at blazetv.com/slightlyoffensive using code Elijah to get our best discount ever. Anyway, thank you so much. Have a great rest of the week. I'll see you tomorrow. May God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.